What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Adoption Pod, episode 11. We are killing it here on the Adoption
There's
Pod.
no way we've done 11 of these.
I know, right? And honestly, we've had some like banger guests. We've talked to some really amazing people in the space, and the whole
Yeah.
theme of adoption. We're the various people from different parts of crypto, which is like was kind of like my idea. Like my goal here was like mass adoption and talk to all the kind of people, because I never, that was a problem when I got into gaming. I felt like I was like only pigeonholed in the gaming, and I'm like, there's so much
Yes.
more than just game. Don't get me wrong, I love gaming, but there's so much more than that, and I never wanted to be just a gaming content creator, but I became like the gaming guy, right? And now I'm the trading guy, so so it's
good to be like the future is like composable. We need lots of different skills that fits it in lots of different places. Roles are changing in the industry. I spend part of my time here at this company, part of my time here at this company. It's the future. We're becoming highly specialized, but we also still need to kind of have that Swiss Army knife element, especially working in startups in this space, because you don't have a robust team and every department covered. You need people that are willing to wear multiple hats. So good times in crypto.
Absolutely. And speaking of crypto, how about AVAX? Because let's talk about a little bit of news here. Don't have a whole lot of articles to bring up. We had the rate cuts last week. And honestly, nothing really crazy since then. It's kind of been a bloodbath, to be honest. Again, we've had worse pullbacks, but I'll tell you one thing: out of all my watch list, everything was red and AVAX was pumping, and that tells me something. And I told you this, Mick, before. I said, look at coins that are holding up strong in these dips, because those are the ones you want to be in, and the bullish momentum is just too strong that bad news is
and
not affecting.
Do you remember what I told you about AVAX, Mike? I told you AVAX forever. That was my technical analysis, and it's proving to be true.
Absolutely.
So
Honestly, you totally onboarded me to AVAX. I went through like different stages of like L1s. First I came into the space as an L1 ETH maxi, because I was an ETH miner. Then I got into Solana, and I'm like, oh, Solana's going to take market share away from Ethereum because their transactions are so fast. It's so cheap. And then they created Pump Fund, and it was like terrible. And it's good it's good and it's bad, because like, yeah, okay, you can handle a lot of transactions, but on the other hand, like, these are really shitty like kind of people on there.
Yeah, and it doesn't last, right? Like those aren't.
It's one thing, and that's.
I feel like the chain that you choose to build on and make your home base is like the country that you're choosing to live in and do commerce in, to virtually live in.
Yes.
So I love Solana DJ. I will visit Solana on vacation sometimes, and I will go down in their trenches. But I want to come back to AVAX where the real building is happening. And
honestly, the only reason
real products going to market.
The only reason I really use Solana is because I wanted to move stable coins around without paying all these gas fees. So I was using Solana. I'm like, it's fast, it's quick. It's accepted pretty much anywhere. And then, here comes AVAX, and I get introduced to AVAX, and it's like even cheaper, much faster. I never had congestion or any issues. It's once the C chain started popping off, like, I'm like, I don't need to go back to. I literally haven't used Solana since. I haven't used Ethereum since. I would never use Ethereum again, because the convenience I'm getting from AVAX for moving my stable coins around is fine by me, and it's accepted where every exchange has AVAX. You know what I mean? So that's more.
You're not going to need to do it all. You're not going to need to be. The future is cross chain, but there will be hubs where you can operate cross chain. And I think our guest today is somebody good to speak on that omni-chain future and how we're bringing all these chains together to make user experiences more seamless. So I don't know if you want to go ahead and bring Jose up, and we can get started on. Let's put him in the hot seat. Let's really grill him. I just started working for him, so let's get me in trouble.
There you go.
Just kidding.
What's going on, Jose?
How we
doing? I don't know if you heard that last part, but I take it all back.
Oh no, I didn't hear anything. I'm excited to be on the hot seat.
I always forget to record.
Good.
New platform here. New platform here.
Yeah, we're getting through some bugs. We're getting everything retweeted, but super glad to have you. We were just kind of talking about, some of the difficulties of having to choose chains. And like, Mike was talking about how previously, I was using Solana because it was cheaper to move money around, but then I found AVAX and like, you have to onboard yourself into each new ecosystem to do all these things. And then we have amazing products like VDEX coming to market. Shout out, sponsored, whatever, that are merging that together and making that omni-chain kind of single platform where you can do everything across every chain that has to do with your trading activities in one place with zero gas. So there was my little shill. Jose, please introduce yourself to our audience. I know a lot of you only know you as the 23-year-old Yale dropout that I currently work for. Sorry about tweeting that.
I really liked your country analogy about the omni-chain, just to start there, right?
Yeah.
So that it's about identity. It's about coming as you are, and people are in different places. We want to unify them. So I'm Jose. Yeah. I'm the founder of VDEX. We're all about omni-chain, making the future composable and seamless, and also private. So we're just getting started here, but we have a pretty kick-ass product, and well, we're just starting the process of getting people to come test it out and break it and basically grow with us.
Tell me a little bit about, because I have never worked with a founder with a more intense schedule. Like your sleeping hours, like, are you sleeping like 4-hour shifts throughout the day to like handle everything across the world? Because you are crushing it.
Yeah, something like that. That's the drawback of a global community on every chain, right? It means you have to be available all the time. So I was just about to set my alarm, like, oh, okay, I can sleep in, and then I had this wonderful show with you guys, so I had to. You saw
Sorry
me
to wake you up early. To be fair, I'm getting up at 7:30 for one of our calls tomorrow, so kind of, we're even.
Getting back.
We're on the mindset. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Well, cool. I would love to dig right into the product. So, we just recently launched on AVAX. That's one of, the communities that, Jose's team has been bullish on for a while. And then with me coming on the team and the connections, it makes a lot of sense to push into this community. So we're doing some things with them. We have some fun collabs coming up with other AVAX projects as well. Tell us a little bit about just the journey to VDEX, because for context, for those of you who are listening, I met Jose about 3 years ago when I co-founded a game launcher, and he was building OX Virtual Labs as an underlying technology to help gaming platforms universally swap tokens underneath the hood. And then there just became some friction, right? Different types of styles of gameplay, and it became obvious that there was going to be too much friction. And then they kind of pivoted to this DEX model to apply that same technology to the DEX. So tell us about the virtual machine technology that is the foundation of everything that is VDEX.
Yeah, so basically we're all about privacy and full self-custody, but we believe that those rights can only be delivered if there's not a compromise in cost or experience. So right, you see all these like privacy solutions, you see all these custody solutions, but no one uses them because they're so hard to use. And so where we wanted to be was, let's create something that has all of this, and it's even easier to use than the other systems. And so we created what's called a virtual rollup, and it's basically a peer-to-peer zero-knowledge state channel. If any viewers are familiar with the Lightning Network, it settles on your own device, which means that VDEX cannot stop or see your transactions. It also means that there's no gas fees because you're the one executing your transaction, so there's no middleman. That also means it executes really fast because there's no block time that needs to finalize and compose, and there's no bank in the middle that can pull any sorts of shenanigans. So that's what I spent the last 2 years really building. Then Virtual Labs is the company responsible for building and maintaining these primitives. Gaming was our first exploration in how to monetize and propagate this technology, but we found out that while this primitive is powerful, it's also hard to work with. So for every game we partnered with, and there was a lot of interest, we had to hire an entire engineering team just to integrate that game, because on the circuit level, each of them was different. And we didn't have a full virtual machine, so it wasn't plug and play. It was actually like $10,000, $20,000 just to integrate one game and
Wow.
several weeks.
And with how many games fail in the space, 98% probably that could get expensive really quick.
Yeah, it did. And then yeah, Mikkel, you're wondering where all the money went from marketing budget. That's where it
Yeah,
was.
I'm like, where's my marketing budget, bro?
Yeah, I called myself out earlier. I said, you know,
I
crypto
saw.
bro, crypto. I thought you'd like that. Crypto bros
I
will spend
loved it.
1.5 mil on product development, and not 20K on marketing. So guilty as charged.
Gaming is a tough market, man. I'm not even just for Web3. Like it's tough for Web2 games to even like stand out from the rest. It's really really hard out there. I can think about like this year how many games on one hand actually like wow, that's like really good, like something different, right? Instead, and you know what I mean, like that I actually want to spend money on. Especially nowadays, games are like $90 a game, right? Like on PS5 or whatever.
It seemed like, you know, at the beginning, there weren't a lot of really valid use cases for crypto, and we were grasping at straws. And then gaming just became like, oh, yeah, we'll just already kind of, you know, we can just layer this technology in. Is it actually making the experience better? I don't think as of yet, yes. So we're still a long way from there. But when we're trading and operating, and, you know, new users are coming into the space, they have a choice between sexes and dexes. We want them to have options between self-custody, custody. So I love that there's, you know, you and a couple other products out there that are really targeting the mainstream consumer, providing some safety and guardrails, but still allowing like those individual autonomous, like I have a right to hand make money if I want and not have the government involved in it. I feel like, right? Like I don't.
I know, like in crypto, there's always been this holy trinity. So I was reading some of your posts, and the holy trinity is kind of like you can have something fast and cheap, but not secure, and you have something secure, but it's got to be slow and it's and maybe cheap. Like you can have two, but you can't have all three. And I like what you said. You said basically, you know, it's not that it can't be done. It's just that you need a whole reimagination, and you're kind of seeing that with this technology here. And you know, the whole idea, the whole theme of this entire podcast is mass adoption, and you know, being omni-chain and being on multiple different chains. This stuff is going to run in the background, and for mass adoption, a lot of people don't care what's under the hood. I would say most people don't care what's under the hood, but being able to transact, like I was just talking about stable coins, I was using Solana, AVAX, whatever, ETH, like to be able to just transact with whatever you want, and it just happens. And you know, if you want to know what's under the hood, great, but it just does what it's got to do under the hood, and it works. That's all people care about. And then what you're doing with customer service is another thing, because when you go to a store, what do people remember the most? How they were treated. Like, and that's why they come back.
You know, people remember how they made you feel, not, you know,
absolutely.
Great.
So
I had a call with Sisyphus earlier, and he glowed about the reasons that he is in that community. Is it's the first community that he's really felt valued in or heard in or supported for the content that he's putting out. It's just, I think that's part of what attracted me to you guys, because I've always been a community first marketer and builder. And I think if you lose that or ignore that, like you might maybe have different short-term goals in the space, but that's not the type of building I think that you're interested in doing, or a lot of us. So I applaud you for, you know, making the community number one. Talk a little bit about the community and how it's developed over.
Shout out Sisyphus, shout out our entire community. Honestly, I'm not satisfied by where we are. We need to be 10x where we are. I mean, you know, we have Jasmine on our wonderful team, and you know, we've been pushing her everywhere. Mikkel is coming in, helping us out with that. That's going to allow going to allow Jasmine and even me to focus even more on community support, because I have unrealistic expectations. I want 5-minute customer support because I've had my account locked by Coinbase. I spent hours, days on customer support waiting. I want it to feel like, you know, DMing a friend, right? We're as fast in your DMs as you know, as the bro trying to steal your girl, right? That's where we want to be at that level, in terms of community support, because I think that we are all a family. We're trying to build this together. And to tie in the, you know, how we got here from gaming, it's a different use case, but it's the same underlying tech, and it works so much better because there's our primary feature, zero gas fees, is made so much more important when there is a lot of trading going on. So, if you're playing games, then, maybe you're doing a few wallet transactions, but trading, you're going, we have swing traders who we're actually hitting new all-time high trades per day. We're doing 50,000 trades a day on VDEX. How much would that cost on Ethereum? That we're saving users.
Well, we posted a chart today that said for every 10,000 Ethereum trades, you would be paying 1 Ethereum. So.
Yes.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
I was talking with a member of our community earlier who was asking about gas fees, and that reminded me. I pulled up a tweet. I was trying to trade during ETH Denver, and there was that was one of the very first spikes this year in ETH when we thought, oh my God, are we finally going to get rich on ETH? Because I've been holding for so long, and it's been a dog. That was like the first glimmer of hope. And I tried to buy more, right? And I went to buy more. You know how much the gas was? $400 in gas. And I tried 3 times, and none of them went through. So
It's
pretty
bad.
brutal. And
I used to have to
tweeted
do
out-
my transactions like first thing in the morning before the gas would
Oh,
rise
no.
up. It's
No.
terrible.
When users have to to even think about that, even if it is a concern, the technology's already failed. It's
Yeah.
pitiful.
You lose people right
you
there.
just look at the other side launch, right? And the gas wars for the plots of land in the Kodas or
Yeah.
whatever. It was like $3,000 some dollars. Like that is an epic fail. And then I heard BAYC members rationalizing it on Spaces like, yeah, but if people feel like they have to pay a lot of gas, it'll perceive the value higher. Like that theory has not played out.
Stockholm syndrome.
I view every dollar. Yeah, I've spent, it's a waste of money. Like I wish I could have all my gas money back. None of my NFTs are higher priced because people paid more in gas.
Even imagine 10 years from now, the gas you paid then versus what the ETH is going to be worth in the future. It could be for some people that have been in crypto for many, many years, it could accumulate to hundreds of thousands of dollars or even millions. Who knows? Like it could, you never know where it could go. And it's just,
I never want to know. I never want someone to build that tool because I know someone's going to vibe code
it's on your Ether.
It's
on your Ether scan. Don't look at your Ether scan.
That actually, that's great marketing.
Actually, okay. So take a cut. Nobody else.
So if you go, I believe if you go on Etherscan and you put up your wallet, it will tell you how much gas you've spent in that wallet as a total. So you can pull that for your marketing.
New partnership coming.
Us in the ETH Foundation.
I know a guy who knows a guy.
Talk to us about the gas list. I don't even think Mike knows how this works yet. So this is the probably second most favorite feature of mine as a US resident. Obviously, the way the transactions occur and how they are able to be gasless is a way that allows me to not have to use a VPN here in the States to trade my perpetuals and to do all these different things. So to me, that's a big deal. Every time I have to, we're taking risks, right? Like things aren't super regulated. Probably we're not going to get in trouble. But if I'm somebody claiming millions in airdrops and there's some, you might worry, right? So tell us about the technology and just tell that. I love hearing this story and describe it the way you did, with the keys and stuff.
So I love how we were talking about the tech doesn't matter because we shouldn't need. I want to get to the point where people, they don't even ask. They're just taking us for granted in terms of what we deliver. So it's not that the ZK state channels are great for their sake. I think so many projects are, crypto is the use case and crypto is the tech. No, that's a means to an end. And our underlying tech, which I'll explain in a moment, is the means to getting us to zero gas, sub-millisecond finality, omni-chain deposits, not having a VPN in the US. All of these are side effects of our technology. And that's how I feel so secure. No one can copy us. They can say, oh, great ideas, Jose. Okay, good luck. Spend 3 years building what we built. So
there's a nice little moat there.
we have an extremely strong moat. The moat is us. The moat is in our hearts. But in a much more real sense, the moat is a zero knowledge state channel. And how that works is basically, think about it like a safe. And you have 2 padlocks on the safe. And first, if I want to deposit into VDEX, I'm going to basically, move some coins in, right? That's equivalent to putting some like a gold bar or some cash in the safe, right? And then now when I want to trade, I'm going to basically think of it like passing a note on the safe, basically saying, okay, here's some escrow I have, here's some capital, and I'm going to basically exchange this for a little while for some, position data. And then
Mhm.
I'm going to unlock it, put the note in, and then lock it again, and then send it over to the mesh net. And then a counterparty is going to receive that. They're going to say, okay, this looks good from my end. They're going to unlock it, they're going to sign it, they're going to relock it, and they're going to push it back. And so this entire process is, number one, it's universal. Everyone must sign the state. So if there's 2 or 3 or 4 participants that are engaging in a trade now, and that can depend on the use case. So in trading, it's normally just 2 participants, but in gaming, it can be a poker
Yep.
game, 9-handed. In trading, both participants sign it. This is significant because, of course, ETH, BTC, SOL, they all have 51% trust assumptions. We
Yep.
don't have that. We are actually more secure than these POS, POW systems because they are universal consent, Byzantine fault tolerant. So if the
Explain that to us like we're 5.
Yeah, okay. Like, okay, let's say that you're bickering with your siblings and you want to basically go tell to mom. In this example, mom is Ethereum, right? And so you're playing over some blocks. You're fighting over the applesauce, and okay. Now here's where the analogy is breaking down. But we're the siblings are basically, they are agreeing that they get to share the blocks, right? Maybe one plays with the trucks while the other plays with the blocks. One plays in the morning while the other plays in the evening. And that agreement is, let's say they just tell each other, okay, we're going to make this agreement. Okay, I get to play with the blocks. Really cool. And then the other one just basically says, oh, this doesn't happen. And maybe it's the older brother. He's a bully. He says, okay, I got to play first. I'm also going to play now. But little brother here has ace up his sleeve, which is he can just tell mom, and maybe without ZK state channels, mom's not going to believe him. He's going to be like, okay, we don't know what happened. Older brother that you played before, but now the signature is signed at the moment the agreement is made. Okay, so let me say that again, and I'm gonna break from the analogy here. So once you do any transaction, once you make any agreement, playing with blocks, trading, that agreement is, and this is the most important line of the entire podcast. The agreement is pre-signed at the moment of the transaction itself. So if older brother or VDEX counterparty or whoever tries to renege, says that this doesn't happen, or says that the agreement was different, so basically saying it didn't happen or that the terms were different, you have their signed consent at the moment the transaction takes place. So if our front end goes down, if big bro says it didn't happen, doesn't matter. You're storing that signature locally on your own device. You have that receipt, and you can prove that receipt to mom, to Ethereum, and unlock your funds at any time trustlessly. How did I do?
And you're going to give us all VDEX phone number so that we can just.
Yes, exactly.
No, but I mean, I can imagine that very rarely happens. Go ahead, Mike.
So I got a question. So with VDEX, I fund my wallet, okay, and then I gotta move. The wallet gets accepted, or the money funds get accepted. I move it to the perps. Are you still in control of that? Those funds that you put in, or does it move to a normal exchange? It moves to the exchange's wallet.
No. So VDEX never has power over, custody of, control over funds at any point in the business cycle, and that's a legal definition, and that's the one we have to meet to not be a money transmitter and do what Hyperliquid and Paradex do in the US. So how we achieve this is basically you have a balance state, and those funds are locked, and that's transparent on Ethereum itself. Once that transaction is made, you receive a state that's basically, think of it like a receipt. It's like, let's say you're at a restaurant. Here's a
Mhm.
better analogy. You're at a restaurant. You only pay with your credit card or cash at the end, right? You're not paying every time you order an item.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're remembering it in your head. That's your own ledger. And the restaurant, the waiter, the exchange is also recording it in their head. And boom, you have your own
Right.
ledger.
Okay, so this is kind of like a cold storage wallet. You do the transaction, and until you broadcast the actual transaction to the network, it actually doesn't settle until that transaction is broadcasted.
You can think of it like that. Yeah, it is settling on the peer-to-peer network itself, but it doesn't settle on Ethereum.
Yeah, it's like you said with the Lightning Network. Transactions are settled, and then they'll settle onto the connect to the Bitcoin blockchain after a bunch of transactions have gone through to fill up like a block, for example.
Yes. The interesting thing here, though, and the reason, basically, the whole innovation on top of Lightning has a few requirements. We're talking about impossible trinity. One of the others is trustlessness, verifiability, and privacy. And so with Lightning Network, it's only two people, and they must be live at the same time. So you can't build an exchange on that because you need to pre-lock all the capital.
Yeah.
How do you have multiple counterparties? So that's where we kind of have our own confirmation network where users can basically and this gets very, very complicated, but basically users lock their escrow in individual vaults. So they still have that component with Lightning where your funds are actually in your own vault on Ethereum. And so you can point to it and there is ceaseless proof of reserve. You can see your funds, there they are. We used to have a meeting every Thursday called SBF was in jail for a reason. And we would red team how to, and very relevant today. I don't know if you've seen the tweet.
Yeah, I saw his GM tweet. Is he back?
Yeah, I hope not. But you were talking about my schedule. Well, I'm never going to sleep again if that's the case. But
yeah, got a lot of work.
we had to think about this. So you have proof of reserve always. Your funds are locked. Then you get a receipt. But the thing is that receipt is not just transmitted between just one counterparty like it is in Lightning, and then it's just not settling, because that wouldn't work. What if you want to trade with a different counterparty, or we want to introduce payments? And this needs to be a lot more capital efficient than just Alice versus Bob. And so that required a lot more innovation. But that receipt, that state corresponding to escrow, always transmits back to your own isolated vault. We call it a vault of isolated participant escrow. So we're very serious about not commingling funds.
Okay, great.
That's insane. I mean, I it's like way over my head, but I can actually like visualize the differences. I don't know who's doing that. But yeah, phenomenal. Okay, so you dropped out of Yale. Why?
Well, because I'm just wanting to make my parents really sad, and wanted to be a disappointment that they always said I would be. But no, in all seriousness, we got accepted into Binance incubation, and it was funny. I was at a
based
conference.
On your research, you were doing some research on ZK state channels at Yale.
Yes, exactly. So I founded the blockchain club there. I actually I studied under the inventor of Perp, Nobel laureate Robert Schiller. So I was his teacher's assistant. Cool. He invented the perpetual future. So I feel well qualified to make an exchange.
That's actually quite amazing.
Yeah.
And
I didn't know we had such a big star on the show. I feel like we should take this more seriously now, Mike.
Let me set up over here.
I did some research. I founded the blockchain club, and did some cool things there. Did some hackathons and stuff, and so got under the eye of Binance, and of course my own personal research. And then basically the rest is history. It was too good of an opportunity to turn down. They flew me to Paris. That was actually at the time of the FTX debacle. I was in the Binance offices, so just an interesting time, and kept picking up steam and raised a pre-seed round and never looked back.
That's it, man.
Yeah.
Some of the most successful people in the world didn't finish school, right? So
I'm working for the next Steve Jobs. I don't know what to tell you. That's going to be my claim to fame when I'm older. Okay. Well, there's some exciting things coming up. I know that I don't know if that's my computer or y'all's.
That's me. Sorry.
Okay, it's okay. It's just
It's my mom. I think she heard about the dropout thing and she's not happy.
She's not. Yeah, I get it. You'll make up for it. I'm sure times 10 with this project. So we have some exciting things coming up. So virtual labs, developed the product that took a couple years, and then this was spun up out of there. You guys have been building VDEX for what, the last 9-ish months on top of?
Yes.
Okay, so about 9 months
in April, and then development for months before then.
Okay, and so here we are today, getting ready. Like, it's been in closed beta with a very, very small, private, selected community. We're starting to open up some little circles and be a little more loose with code. So anybody watching, if you want to hop in the VDEX Telegram, the link is in the link tree on the bio. Hop in the Telegram. You can usually harass one of the mods in there.
I've been getting Wen code in my DMs for months, so this is going to come as good
news. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, just DM Jose personally, and he will get you a code.
Yeah. my link is I'd mint that again, so just feel free to message me.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, great. So we have all this stuff coming, and you finally feel like this product is solid. It's ready to bring to market. It's ready to stress test with some volume.
Yes.
How much do you want to tell us about, just because I know some internal things and I don't want to get myself fired live on stream. So how much do you want to tell us about those things that are coming up, Jose?
Ooh, okay. So we feel the product has been thoroughly battle tested. We've been audited by Halborn, by the best. We've, of course, done our own, months of work, and we know it's secure. Now it's been time tested as well. We're at that level of technical confidence. Features are good. Interface is great. And so now the next step is, let's show it to the world. Let's show why we're 200 times faster than Hyperliquid. We are private, unlike other exchanges. You have come as you are. You don't need to bridge to Arbitrum or anything else like that. And so basically the next step is let's increase the codes. Let's add a referral campaign. Let's let users share their own friends, which has previously not been allowed. Let's introduce a leaderboard. Let's get people excited about competing here. And let's get excited about ramping up and exiting beta, which comes with all sorts of mainnet privileges. Currently, we have caps on the amount of open interest we can have, on the amount of TVL we can have. All of that is going away. And it's basically like, let's have some fun now.
Let her rip.
That's
exciting. Mike, what do you got?
So I wanted to know the kind of things you got on here. So you got obviously crypto perps. I think you had some gold on there. I hear prediction markets are coming on, which is perfect because hockey season is just about to start. So I'm ready for some bets. Preseason, literally, there's a hockey game on right now, like a preseason game. But I don't.
I'm going to use this as an opportunity for a customer interview, because we are. It's no secret, or it's a bit of a secret, that we are going to be the first to market on listing leveraged prediction markets, perp prediction markets. Pretty big deal. Not even going to lie. What do you want from a perp prediction market? What sort of leverage are you looking for? What sort of markets? Is there anything that you're looking for that the current poly market and Kalshi don't provide?
I know for like sports, I like for example, I'm gonna pick my team to win or lose, like obviously, and then then you can have like goals, for example, like 3 or more goals, or 2 or less goals, or whatever, right? I don't know what the average is. Or I know some other platforms that I use, they would have like you can choose your team to win or lose. You can choose it to have goals, 3 or more goals, or goals against, and then they're like a bonus on top. Or you can choose it to be one whole thing. If you get like a parlay, you get them all, then and then you win like a bigger sum. So kind of just add-ons to the ones that I was doing. Again, soccer is different too. Like soccer would be, you can actually have a draw. You can actually vote for a draw, because that's pretty common in soccer that you can get draws. So stuff like that is kind of like, I keep it simple. Like it's, to be honest with me, I'm a win or lose kind of guy, because I don't do all the statistics. I don't have the time to do all that. But some people love it, and especially with baseball, I know like there's a million statistics in baseball, and there's a crap load of things that you can bet on.
Imagine how much money you can lose 10x leveraging those hockey bets this year.
I even like the whole poly market stuff where you have like who's gonna be the next prime minister, or like will there be I saw one on poly market.
We'll have all that.
It was so funny. It's like it was literally the bet was, would Jerome Powell say good afternoon at the beginning of a speech, and he did. I'm like, oh man, I would have won that one.
You know, the funny thing behind that market is that the one time he didn't, the market crashed. So it's significant.
If you would have known that statistic, like, yeah, you could have made some. Did you know that before? I expect this alpha when things happen, so I can get better trades.
You know what? That's we're setting up our channels, Mikkel. That's the type of alpha we're going to now be able to disseminate to our community, especially because we're going to be able to think about Mikkel. We're going to be able to talk about sports now and prime ministerships and the Fed lowering rates. Here's some alpha. This is the first time ever on air. In fact, actually, Mikkel doesn't even know this, but this is alpha. The first market VDEX is going to be listing is going to be Federal Reserve cutting rates in October.
That's my jam.
Right now on Polymarket, odds of a 25% BIP cut are around 89%. Meaning, if you put in $100, you are going to get a whopping $10. So maybe not so exciting, but with a little bit of leverage, let's say 10x, 5x. We're not sure where we're going to start yet. Of course, it can be pretty risky for the exchange. Let's say it's a 5x leverage. What was previously going to be $10, all of a sudden $50. You have a 90% probability of getting a 50x return. You do that 10 minutes before the speech. You can
that's
1,000%
huge.
PR. That's pretty huge.
Fun. Like, that's gamifying the world we live in. That's literally, I posted a meme the other day that was like the lore, and it's like dinosaurs and all this exciting stuff people do, and then like the gameplay, and it's people sitting at desks and doing like boring shit all day. And like, this is what like the future allows. We can gamify our experiences, and like the glasses you can wear while you vacuum, and there's balls all over the ground, and get your kids to I mean, there's so many incredible technologies coming out that are just going to like make some of these mundane things that we have to do over the course of our life, a little more fun, and stressful moments, and like attention, like it's kind of the sky's the limit. And I think as a marketing component of this product, it does open us up to that wider Web2 audience. Like, it will be very simple to on-ramp funds in and to participate in these markets. And we'll be able to talk about things like, will Taylor Swift and what's his face get married?
Important
things.
And
then all this. Oh, yes, only the most important.
I could just imagine at the FOMC. The FOMC is like, wow, we've had record viewership, and meanwhile, it's like all DGen just gambling on what the hell he's gonna say.
Yeah. 100x leverage on this, pal. Imagine
even like the Super Bowl and the amount of perp bets, like what color's a Gatorade or this or that. Like, honestly, that's more entertaining for me than the actual NFL, the Super Bowl, because I don't know much about. I'm a hockey guy. I'm a Canadian. You can see behind me the Canadians.
Well, it's more inclusive for women and kids. I mean, it's something for everyone, right? Like,
it's
I
fun.
know.
Like, crypto's fun too, but like, I mean, how many times is Trump going to say, Epstein in a speech like that? Like, you can't put a price on that, right?
I know. It's really,
that leads me to.
Go ahead.
Sorry, I was just gonna say that leads me to another thing too, is being able to bet in crypto, get paid in crypto, move your funds around privately, because they don't need to know where you're moving your stuff from. Especially, like, mind you, if you're gambling with like hundreds of thousands of dollars, whatever, like, maybe some governments might have a problem with that, where they want to know, how much you have. But like, again, we should be able to transact freely within each other. What we do with our money, like, I know I've had I put money in a crypto.com, like $500, and they're like, where'd this come from? Because we have something called the travel rule, and it's like, well, like, if I put $500 in my bank account, you wouldn't ask me any questions. If I got a $500 check, why ask me about crypto? Like, it's not even an amount that like would, like, how much I make per year. You have all my information. $500 is not crazy. I'm not money laundering $500. Like, you know what I mean?
They don't need to know. They shouldn't need to know. And can I just say, on a completely unrelated note, I am not suicidal, and I love life. And
and it's all recorded. This is live.
It's all live. Yeah, we're all friends here.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, no, good catch on that. We will make sure to save this one for the archives just in case, because it does. I mean, it's funny, like the world we live in, and I'm not a huge conspiracy theorist, but a lot of those things over time do prove to be a little more true than our comfort levels really want to allow. So I think sometimes we willingly look the other way, or throw the conspiracy label on things as a method of just discounting things that they don't want the public to see or know about. So just call people crazy, and then you don't have to listen to them anymore. But I think
Yeah.
Elon has gone a long way. Like, I don't know where
Huge.
you are on the Elon Maxi spectrum. I'm pretty high, depending on how he is with the White House, because my brother works up there. So like sometimes my opinion dips when he's a jerk, because it's like, you're being mean to my bro. But
Or when he's censoring certain Twitter accounts.
I know, and
Right.
which is just ridiculous. I know. So fair point. But we have come a long way towards protecting free speech. And I think there was an article earlier today from the Wall Street Journal that said they have released documents that the Biden administration was censoring certain YouTube channels and censoring certain, like, it's like having the ability to put this data on chain, and like to the transparency that crypto promotes, like all of these things, there's so much that this can solve, right? But we are fighting that mantra of like, crypto's a scam, and I think they like that, right? Like the government, like they don't want to take the power of the finances out of their hands. They don't want it to be universally held and transacted. So they have a vested interest in propaganda, promote whatever against it. I'm trying to see, what's my question there? So what do you see? How does this path play out because you're somebody smart and I respect, with crypto and with government currencies currently? How do we come together and merge these two systems in a meaningful way? How do you see that happening?
So I think that Scott Bessent, Treasury Secretary, is very bullish on stablecoins. And I think that, we're talking about grasping at straws for crypto use cases. Bullish stablecoins and prediction markets. So, oh man, I'm about to go on a tangent. Everyone, break. So, wait, okay. Starting with the government part, I think actually can be very synergistic, specifically in the current administration. I think that they're very open. I mean, we have the president himself, grifting on chain. So like, he's really just a representation of the industry. He's one of us at this point. So
he's a degen.
Trump is number one degen, I think.
Yeah.
And so it's a much more regulatory clear environment as well. It's certainly not perfect. We still have some issues, as we've seen with Tornado Cash and judicial decisions there. But by and large, we're moving in the absolute right way. And that is because the US wants to dominate the stablecoin market. They want to make greenback a worldwide permissionless phenomenon. I live in Argentina, and we use stablecoins here all the time because the local peso is incredibly unstable. Inflation is rampant.
Yeah.
So we use dollars, and more than dollars, we use stablecoin. Never in my life have I just seen somewhere and it's like, oh, here's my credit card. Like, oh no, we don't accept that. Do you have MetaMask? Where? When have you ever seen this?
That's crazy.
It doesn't happen. So I think actually that interests are now aligned. We see that the European Union is possibly launching a stablecoin, but they're launching a central bank digital stablecoin, which is absolutely not what we want. I mean, I already have. I could don't even get me started on the Europe plan. I'll just say very briefly, we do not want to give Europe more regulatory power and see all of our transactions. Hell no. So having the U.S. a permissionless, private, currently untransparent, but once we come along, private system where the government can't see what you're doing, and we have dollar dominance, super bullish. So that's part one of the rant. And then very briefly to the use cases and the prediction markets. We were talking about government overreach and will Biden drop out? All of the news agencies are saying no chance. It's ludicrous. Like you were conspiracy theorists if you thought he was going to drop out. Meanwhile, poly market 50-60% truth, universal truth terminal, huge.
Yes.
No, two use cases right there. We want to leverage them both.
I love it. And like, yeah, it is. It's like we have this two-party system here in the States where it's like propaganda machine number one, propaganda machine number two. You pick which one you overall belong to, and then anything the other one says is a lie. There's no unbiased, there's attempts at unbiased news sources, but with these prediction markets, like it's sentiment, right? And like I'm a sentiment trader. I'm a sentiment liver. Like I'm not left-brained, I'm not data, I'm not math. Like that's how I make my decisions. So I think having those like it's not a consensus, but just like a way to demonstrate the overall mood of the country on certain things in a totally impartial, totally transparent, totally on chain and fussable. You can't fix the numbers on it, right? So like, right. I think that's a big value to help people see. They can say one thing on a news channel and you can say, no, this is the way the American public actually feels about it. The way, so.
Right. And if it's the best comeback, it's like, oh, that can't be right. There's not a 50% chance. Okay, put your money where your mouth is. Go bet against it then.
Yeah.
It's free market capitalism disseminating information.
Are we just going to be traders in the future? Is that all the work that's going to be left? We're just going to be trading.
AI is going to be trading for us eventually. Yeah. It's going to be like these stupid humans. We're better than you at trading. Like,
it's true. In my case, it's true.
I'm just starting to see the evolution of trading bots now, and look how well they're doing, right? Because they're programmed to make a certain percentage, and they just do it, right? I've seen it in my personal trading group. And how well they can do. You got to pay for it, but AI's and AI agents, when they can connect to everything, that's honestly the future is limitless.
This is a good point to maybe talk about our trading bot API as well too. So if you want to answer both, is that public? I don't know. I might have just gotten fired.
Yeah, no. Michaela, if you could stay after the call, maybe we could have a conversation. No, so actually, yeah, we are one of our engineers, Vasu. He is working hard on our API gateway to allow agents and algo traders and market makers, all sorts of people. So we actually have on the cap table, we have the largest market makers in the world, and I get a ping from them every week saying, hey, we'd love to 10x VDEX's volume. Oh yeah, here, go trade in the interface. And they're like, I don't know about that, Jose. So good news, we're gonna have our APIs so you can trade. If you have a private trading bot, you want to set it up with GPT-5, boom, you can now trade on VDEX like anyone else, and you can do so with sub-millisecond finality from anywhere, and that's going to be coming in early October.
That's crazy. So it's like getting to be like all of us, I guess we're all the insiders now with all the, like the NASDAQ speeds and knowledge first. We're just building anew. But I think that the ethos of the space is to decentralize that opportunity and to pass it along. It's much less hoarding and power focused. And, it's not like it's going to lead to some utopia, but I think it's the best shot that we have and not just completely crumbling as a world, because anybody can look around and just say things are not going well. We don't need to list any details, but it's fragile. And they say the root of all money is evil. Well, I think yes, but it's also greed, right? Like if you can take the opportunity to be greedy off the table, and then it becomes, people don't have as much incentive to be greedy when it's equitable, right? I think most people just want enough to live and enough to eat and to not worry about the vacation they're going to take. I don't think everybody wants to be millionaires and billionaires. They just don't want to live paycheck to paycheck.
Yeah, you want to get out of survival mode.
Survival mode, yeah. And there's just so many people, like here in the States, and I don't know about where y'all are at, but, jobs are tight here. So, again, not a utopia, but we're getting much closer to a system that is transparent and fair and not manipulative. And the Pentagon can't lose a couple $1 billion and just say, well, whoops. And then what do you do? Like fuss with them, or like call your local, we have no power, right? And we have no way to access that information.
So I look at it like,
forces honesty.
I look at it like, I'll use kind of like an example. There's 8 billion people on Earth. and they say like 1 out of every 1,000,000 people are geniuses. What we don't have is free education where everyone has access to education, right? Some people just don't even get in the system at all. And with crypto, getting access in the hands of people, like we've seen from our community, people from countries like Nigeria being able to just tweet and get paid in American dollar through crypto. So it's outside their government. They can't get it taken away from maybe they have corrupt governments or whatnot, and they're able to transact and just get ahead in life without all the things stacked against them, and just getting this tech in, because everybody has cell phones now. Even in third world countries, you have cell phones. So getting this barrier to entry down so people can get in and start and have a future and get out of that survival mode and start thinking about the future. Because I always think back to like something. I'm a very very big fan of Jordan Peterson. He says when you lift people up out of survival mode, they can actually start to think. They have hope and they can think for the future. They start not naturally thinking about the future. And when you start to have a general population start to think about the future of humanity itself also rises.
Bullish. Yes.
Mic drop. Had to do it.
It's locked.
I love it. Okay, so we're getting close to time to do the charts. I think I might, Mike, do you have any further questions? Because I think I had one more thing I wanted to touch on, but I need to stall for a minute while I think of it.
Cool. I have one actually thing that I did want to ask. So 0 gas fees, so much value for the consumer here. But how does VDEX get paid? Where are you? Obviously, company needs money to survive. How are you guys getting paid here in this situation?
Yeah. So we have transaction fees. So the more you trade, the lower the fees are. So, if you're on Uniswap, for example, you have that gas fee, which is transaction based, not volume based. So that means someone with $10 is paying the same amount as someone with $1,000 roughly. And then there's also a fee switch they have. So we have completely eliminated the first type of fee because we were able to eliminate it ourselves. So we remove the cost from us, we pass that on to the consumer, to the trader. And then we do have volume-based fees as an exchange. And then we have also pretty creative ways to profit in the future. So we want to actually have a concept called auto yield. I haven't talked about it in a while because the devs told me it was so hard to build, but coming soon. And now that the main VDEX project is finished, basically we have a lot of locked capital. And it's the safe analogy. You have to put the gold bar or the cash in the safe and then lock it up with your padlock. Well, why is that cash just sitting there? Wouldn't it be nice if we use that to buy bonds or stake that in Aave or something very very low risk, but still 3 to 5% APR? I mean that's really bullish. Currently that capital is unproductive. We want to be able to take that as a source of yield for ourselves and also pass that on to the consumer. Because imagine an exchange where you have money in your trading account and you're not doing anything and it's just earning money. There are parts of the VMM, which by the way has returned 100% APR in the last week. So super bullish.
That's what I was going to ask about, like, like some of our APR. If you want to talk a little bit about that, I think that would be some juicy info for people because it's a sweet APR.
Yeah, and it's very timely as well with the recent returns. So the VMM has done something like $10 million in volume and returned over 100% APR in the last 7 days. So if you invested like a week ago, you already have like 2 or 3% in absolute terms up on that immediately. So that's a very good week for us in the VMM. And then delivering, obviously not that high of yield, but some yield to everyone, even if you're just in a trading account. That's what we want to do.
Very cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I think that was the last thing I kind of wanted to touch on that's pressing. We have a ton of stuff coming up. Obviously, Jose didn't want to tease too much of it, so I didn't say too much, but stay tuned. We do have a really cool partner in the AVAX ecosystem that we'll be talking about soon that we're doing some fun stuff with. Definitely focused on, the AVAX fam and community right now. And we'll be doing a lot there in those early weeks of go-to-market and all that. But we have charts coming up. Jose, I'd love for you to stay for this.
Yes.
Because I suck. I'll
I want
tell
to
you
say
the
about the alpha. So I'm getting from our marketing lead that in real time here that I didn't tease enough. So how about we say pay attention to next Wednesday? Is this alpha enough? Maybe something, maybe nothing. Next
could be
Wednesday.
something next Wednesday.
I
Next
like.
So
Wednesday.
just mark your calendars.
That's what I'm just saying. Wednesday is my favorite day of the week.
Hearing things.
Hearing things.
Okay.
Charts.
Well, that's fair. Yeah, let's do some charts.
Let me share.
And
my
do you
screen.
trade, Jose? Are you an active trader?
I am actually I used to be top 100 volume on Hyperliquid. So
No way.
yeah, I've actually done more. I've done more volume on Hyperliquid than VDEX has done. Period. So I can't actually trade on VDEX with real money because if I did, I would be the shark. So
Right.
I can't do that. I can't do that yet. But yeah, wanna be able to do that soon.
Yeah.
All right.
We'll join my DeFi app faction and just use Hyperliquid there, and then we'll run it up.
Yeah, we're like flip flopping between 49.50, 49.50, 49.50.
I know.
Do you know
All right, what
when
are
does
we
it end?
looking at?
When does it end? How long do we have? We have to go
There's
in.
no
with some-
date. It's as soon as the points are filled for the season. So we still have like 3/4 of a season left. The Kaido campaign ends on the 26th.
Plenty of
for
time.
season.
No worries. We'll get there.
Yeah.
All right. So the markets have sucked lately. Not the greatest day. I had a crow trade. I was trying to trade crow again, and I've been tracking this fallen wedge, and it kind of broke out of my fallen wedge, which is again, these break out to the upside 68% of the time. Again, we're back in the pattern now. Oops. We're back in the pattern now. I'm in a crow trade right now, down 25%, and I was down 50% when this stream started. So we'll see.
That's a win.
We'll see. We'll see if it plays
Losing
out.
less in crypto is a W for me.
You know what? I keep taking stabs at the bottom of this channel because this trade here is crow going to about 40 cents. That's like a 9.6 risk versus reward ratio. So I will keep taking stabs at it. I only risk 1% of my portfolio every trade. So it's totally worth it for me to take the trades because that's like $100 for like $7 margin. So I'm a-okay with that. But let's take a look at the overall market, see what we're looking at, what we talked last week.
What leverage do you trade on with Chronos, and what's the max leverage?
So I'm using like 20x leverage. So what I do is I like, for example, like if I have like a, I actually want to show my calculator because I'm sharing this window. Basically, I do like $1,000 portfolio, $10 trade divided by my stop loss. And here in this case would be 9.59%, and that would give me my position size. And then I use that, and then I plug in the stop loss and take profit there. So I'm only
now
risking
everyone understands why I'm a vibe trader.
that.
We
See,
actually don't have a Chronos listed on VDEX yet, so we can do that tomorrow and get Chronos up there.
Absolutely, it's such,
Dude.
especially with the bullish news lately on Chronos. It's gonna be freaking fire because the Trump's media company got into it, so they're adding a strategic reserve.
You will have this tomorrow. Like Jose will tell me, we'll be on a meeting in the morning and I'll ask for tokenomics and he's like, I'll have it to you by this afternoon. And like literally does. So like expect crow tomorrow.
Well, we're
probably 20x leverage.
we're got VDEX loaded up here. I'm all funded, so we're gonna see if we can find a live trade to get into today. So let's break it down and let's start with my favorite Bitcoin dominance and Tether dominance. So we had my rising wedge here, and it broke down exactly like we said it would. But what happened is we kind of rolled over. We're kind of we made a bottom.
Yeah.
So like I said, I told you guys this 2 weeks in a row now, we might start to see a rotation back into the king, back in the Bitcoin, leading into that next leg up for our cycle top. And we came down, we've started the trend up. We're flagging now above the 200-day moving average on the 4-hour. We're making a bull flag here. So I see more upside for Bitcoin dominance. So I would say that we could have bottomed here. And as long as we continue this trend line here, it's hard for me to say that we haven't because this is our trend now. So we follow that until it breaks. Flagging above on the 4-hour looks pretty good to me. Let's go back to the daily. Again, daily looks pretty good too. Again, I can't say that. Yeah, we broke the top of this channel. We wicked above this channel. So I have to say that, and also round and bottoms pay the bills, right? So we are making a new trend. We're also flaking here, going to come back and touch the 21-day moving average on the daily for Bitcoin dominance. So tether dominance.
What's your take on this, Jose? I'm always listening to Mike. I need diversified perspectives.
In this case, I fully agree. I mean, it's a meme at this point, but it played out perfectly. Buy September liquidations, sell December. I'm more in the November camp, so I absolutely think that BTC has bought or could have bottomed. I think if we see more price action below 110, 108, I don't think that will happen. But if it does, then I think we're going to 90. But more likely scenario is probably October 1st. It's a vertical candle up to 130, 140.
Q4 baby, let's go. All right,
Let's go.
So tether dominance. Again, I had to redrew what I had because I had it in like a rising wedge and it fell out of my falling wedge. But now, I think we're in this broader bearish rectangle here.
And tell the audience again, Mike, why do we look at tether dominance and Bitcoin dominance
So this is the way
we're making decisions based on other trades?
So you have to understand the velocity of money, where money is flowing, and you have to look at Bitcoin dominance and tether dominance to understand where the money in the market is flowing. So if Bitcoin dominance is starting to go up and tether dominance is going down, that tells me money is flowing out of altcoins and into Bitcoin. If Bitcoin dominance goes down and tether dominance goes down, then that tells me money's flowing into altcoins. And the latter would be if Bitcoin dominance is going up and tether dominance is going up, then we have a market correction all across the board. But Bitcoin is king, so Bitcoin will always be stronger against altcoins. So what I see here for tether dominance is still a bearish pattern. We are still in a downtrend. As you can see, we've been tracking this downtrend for quite some time, and it's been playing out literally perfect. It's down, we have a leg down, we have a bearish rectangle, we have a leg down, a bearish rectangle, all on and on and on and on and on. And it's until this trend stops, we have to believe it's going to continue. So I still have this target going down to possibly 3.43% for tether dominance. Right now, looking like we're flagging out. We could come back to the top of the channel. And you see here the daily 200-day moving average is starting to come down. We may get up to that point and maybe get rejected by the 200-day moving average and then start making our way back to the bottom of the channel or right through the bottom of the channel and onto the target. So we're still in a bull market. Don't panic. I don't think it's crazy. It's the cycle top has not happened. Bull markets do not end in panic. Bull markets end in euphoria. So I still see tether dominance.
I'm always panicked, Mike, all the time, no matter what. It's going well, panic. What's going bad, panic.
I know. I get the DMs. Yo, what's going on with ETH, bro?
I know. Should I sell this now?
So,
what do you want to add on that, Jose? What do you watch for when you're looking at tether dominance and Bitcoin dominance?
I look at stablecoin dominance, so I'm targeting 5% as the lower range there. Once we hit that, I'm along with my favorite indicator is Coinbase in the App Store ranking. So if we see stablecoin dominance at range lows at 5% plus the Coinbase at #1, sell everything.
Yeah, absolutely. That's your top signal right now, right there.
There you go.
When my mom finally says, "Hey, I bought some crypto," I'm out.
Yeah.
Yes.
We're gonna meme that tomorrow, Jose. You'll know when the top's in, and grandma buying.
That's when you transition to gold.
Yeah. And we just added 50x leverage gold to the platform, so we are prepared for that eventuality.
All right, so let's look at Bitcoin on the big time frames here. So let's start with the month, because I had a hard time with the smaller time frames because it's just so choppy. It's all over the place. So this is kind of what I have for the monthly. We can even say it's like a rising wedge here. I'll just reposition this like that. We could have something like that, right? So what I've seen other people we'll start this fresh here. So we could have something like this, like a bullish pennant right here, and then we probably will start a parabola. Maybe something like that looks a little bit better. Yeah, I think that's a little bit more realistic. And we can have maybe a target up here around 180,000 potentially if we start that parabola and start lifting off here. That means you can range between 125K, 112, like up in here, all the way up until this says up till February. I really don't believe so. But again, if the business cycle has been delayed, then you could have this bull market spill into Q1 of 2026. Again, that's saying this time is different. And we know historically everybody says this time is different and it hasn't been, but doesn't mean it can't. So be open minded. Again, this is why we look at the charts. We don't look at the news. We see what the charts are showing us. The monthly still has room for the stochastic RSI. It's not overheated. The RSI is at the top, but again, not overheated. We can still go up into this zone up here. So we still have room to move on the monthly. Let's go to the weekly here. And the weekly, I'm going to remove my drawings here. And I just see, so far a higher low. This could be a flag on the weekly here. Came back to the 21-day moving average. And we'll have to watch this here to see where this goes. But I still think overall up. I still think this can break to the upside. We're looking at 158,000 if this is the case. Again, I'm starting to think that we're going to come down to 108, 109 again. I do think we're going to come touch that area again. We're going to range here. So this pattern will show you that we'll come down to 108, 109, and then back up to 115, and then kind of range in here until we blow up.
Price, 108. If we can hold 108, so much higher. If we break 108, so much lower.
Yeah, we still probably make a new all-time high, but like that 180,000 because it's just too much ground to make up. Unless the cycle is extended, because we've had essentially, if you really zoom out of this bull market, it's really been a sideways market. It hasn't been.
It doesn't feel like a bull market most of the time.
Well, you know what? I've always said there's two bull markets. If you're a Bitcoin holder, you've had a great bull run. If you're an altcoin holder, it's kind of been when does it start, right?
It's been a wild ride.
So yeah, so it's been a tough one for sure, and it gets tougher every cycle. It always does. Because it's hard to predict things. The previous cycles rhyme, but they don't happen exactly like it. That's why I've really reverted back to like macroeconomics to look at overall what's going on, especially now when this is led mostly by institutional investors right now. Like retail really hasn't come in the way that it has in 2021. So if it's following more traditional institutional investing, then you have to follow macro, and the rate cuts. They just started cutting again, and we could have rate cuts all the way to the end of the year into even Q1 of next year.
Money supply just hit a new all-time high as well.
Absolutely, and M2 money supply, Bitcoin usually lags a couple months from
45
M2
days.
Exactly. So that again, you need time for that to catch up, and that makes sense. I don't even think early October. I think like maybe second week of October, we might even start coming down into October and then start the recovery once we find a bottom. But I don't think this bull market is over by any means. But I do believe that altcoins are going to take second fiddle right now. And I think we're going to start to see the rotation back into Bitcoin, because you need that velocity to go into Bitcoin. And then when Bitcoin tops, then the money comes out, people take profits and then want to compound those returns and start putting them in the altcoins.
And lose them all on altcoins. Jose, what do you think?
Well, earn money on Bitcoin, lose them on altcoins, of course, is the cycle of life. I think this is the first time I disagree. I actually think that Bitcoin is going to experience some exuberance. I think we can go to 150, 160. I'm a bit more bearish than some of the others. I don't think 180 is possible, but I don't think it's certain or maybe even likely. Mm-hmm. I think that from early October, I think ETH and Sol will dominate, and then alts will follow. So I think firmly we are in altcoin season.
Yeah, until Ethereum has like all-time highs and above, I can't see all other altcoins making new all-time highs. Like it usually happens after ETH is made of some sort of multiple of its all-time high.
It needs to be ETH, but also it's a bit tricky because ETH did make a new all-time high, but not very convincingly. Mm-hmm. And it was market manipulation. It was Jane Street, trying to get everyone to buy lower. So we kind of hard how that plays into it. But I think that ETH definitely needs to be the first mover, but I think even I'm tracking Sol, probably my favorite coin at the moment. And I mean, Sol is just.
Did you mean to say AVAX? I'm sorry, Jose.
I did actually mean AVAX. I have a stutter.
No, it's
and
fine. I just want to make sure the audience clarified. No, go ahead.
Exactly. Yeah. So, thank you for translating for me. So my favorite coin, Solvax. So it's been it's been bullish. Actually, that works actually, because they both have been extremely bullish.
I can even see. Sorry, you continue.
I think that it's tricky because so ETH hit a new all-time high briefly. Sol is moving, AVAX is moving. We see a lot of like Link finally getting some life as well. And so we see what was supposed to happen with ETH hits a new all-time high that gives permission to the other majors and mid caps to start moving. And I think that all that's left now is ETH to reach the point where it was. And I think once ETH reaches 4,900 again or 5,000, I think Sol will already be above the previous cycle's all-time high of 260.
That's awesome. And you know what? Like, I do see like your base case when you're talking about Bitcoin, being a little bit more bullish, because you do see on the weekly like the stochastic RSI is curling up. The MACD is starting to slow down in its selling, and the RSI is kind of sideways here. But like, if you, I just saw that. As you're talking, I'm staring at the chart. And I'm seeing like, we could have like an inverse head and shoulders here, right? And even a complex inverse head and shoulder, another shoulder. We're flagging out right here. And if we have an inverse head and shoulders, like you're looking at, from that shoulder and move up to here, and that might be the breakout here. Like that's 133,000, right? That might be your next all-time high from this inverse head and shoulders on the weekly. So again, I still like the bigger time frames for me look a little bit more bullish than the shorter time frames, and maybe we just kind of go sideways for a bit until those smaller time frames reset. Like if we're looking at, like, for example, the the daily. What's my indicators load? Like the daily.
I have no idea on the daily.
Yeah, so the daily we have, well, again, the stochastic RSI is coming down. We're gonna wait for this. It's gonna have to bottom, so give it some more time to fill in this pattern. We can go sideways for a couple days. Again, we're above the 200-day moving average, which is great. We came back to the 21-day moving average. We're kind of fighting with it right now. So as long as we hold the daily 200-day moving average, there's nothing to worry about. Again, that's 103. So I'm, your trend is your friend until the end. We're still in this pattern here, and we could be making again another inverse head and shoulders right here. Like, look, you have your head, you have your shoulder, you have your shoulder right there. So it could be an inverse head and shoulders on the daily, like, and that's what would break us out of the channel here. This could be like we have a daily green candle right now. The next daily candle just started green. Is this a higher low than this one here? And the next thing, if this is a higher low, we'll wait for it to break this high. This would be the high, so that would be the breakout. So the daily looks good, and then we just gotta wait for the other time frames to slowly, like, we're fighting the 4-hour 200-day moving average on the 4-hour chart, the 200-day moving average. So as long as we can get above that, I'll be bullish. So that's kind of honestly what I'm waiting for right now. I'm waiting for Bitcoin to close a candle above the 200-day moving average on the 4-hour to really start getting bullish again and start trading Bitcoin again. Because right now, again, it can go either or, right?
Yeah.
What do you think on that, Jose? Are you cautious on? Are we at a point where you should just wait, or are you playing?
I have been playing, and I've been getting stopped frequently. So I shorted from the top, which was nice, but
Yes.
after that, I've been trying to long, and I honestly don't know. I think I may sit. Actually, I think I do have an active long and profit, but probably if that one closes, I'm gonna sit out for a little while because I really don't know. I think that I think we really just need to wait for swing traders to determine we'll be able to cross the 200. I think that, we were talking about, I'm curious to hear your thoughts on this. So I definitely, maybe it could be different this time, delayed macro, money supply still increasing, so many other, geopolitics stuff going on. I think it's possible that we see, a cycle top in Q1, which has never happened before, at least in recent history, in the last 3 cycles, or 2 cycles. So if that were to happen, then I think we would actually go to 90 first. So if there was a peak
Mm.
cycle top in Q1, I think that that is preceding that is a return to 90.
Yeah.
Okay.
Very possible.
And you mentioned something that actually did remind me of the real last thing I was going to ask you, and that was about partial liquidation. So can you tell them
Yes.
how you only partially get liquidated?
Yeah. So basically, this is I was getting I got liquidated too much, so I'm like, all right, let me cook a little bit. Let me fix this up.
Yeah.
So basically, what we do now, if you have a position larger than 10,000 compared to hyperliquid, it's 100,000, so it's a lot more generous. Then your position will only be capped by 20%. So if you have a, let's say, 100 AVAX position, then you're going to go to 80 AVAX position, and that's going to continue happening until the position is below $10,000 in value. So that means that you can get like a brief liquidation, which has happened so many times to me, and then you can recover quite easily because you still have 80% of your position bounce back from that. So pretty nice. That's now in production. So waiting for users to try it out and making sure it's working properly and that they like it. But that's where we are. And
I'm gonna like it.
Yeah.
Mike knows I'm gonna like it. I don't even want to show you my P&L for perps. You'd probably fire me, to tell you the truth. I'm gonna quit posting it. Don't look through my old tweets.
Oh god.
But I'm farming points. It's the same thing. Like, I've gambled almost $1 million in Toshi Bet. It's not money that I've really spent, and I'm farming points. So
yeah, and it's interesting about the farming points things. Lighter has this as well. Lighter, I was testing other exchanges to make VDEX the best. And actually, I want you guys to roast me on VDEX because I know like these type of advanced charts you can't do yet on VDEX. So everything that you can't do on VDEX yet, also pairs, crow coming, roast me within an inch of my life. Let's improve. So that's coming. But also on so I was testing lighter, and I was testing liquidations. Totally wasn't intended. I was just testing it, and they apparently have a 1% liquidation fee, which doesn't sound like a lot, but when you're trading on 50x leverage, that was my entire position. So I lost 8K on that liquidation, not from the liquidation itself, from their fee. So that was devastating. I thought it was a joke. It was not a joke.
Clip that. I'm tweeting that tomorrow.
So yeah, we basically announcement's going to be like no horrible liquidation fees like lighter. We don't take any fee at all. Actually, there's no fee for liquidation. So of course, if you'll have realized losses, but no.
It's like a user-friendly platform. It's like a novel concept. It's actually designed for.
We're friendly sharks. We're not here to eat you.
You're like the paper sharks or whatever the nice ones are.
Baby shark.
Oh god.
No, I will do the worst marketing campaign if you start putting bad ideas in my head. I'll be having kids singing and little shark. Don't even. Yeah.
I'm so glad my daughter's past that. Past that age. No more Coco Melon and no more Baby Shark. Thank God in this house.
If Jose never have kids, it's a trap. It's also a very rewarding trap, but it's a trap, and it lasts for 18 years.
When they're young, you have to deal with Coco Melon. When you're young, you have to deal with Baby Shark. When they're older, you have to deal with them shark trading.
Yes. One extreme to the other. All right, let's look at ETH.
All right, so ETH on the daily, I got in this little pattern here. Again, a potential breakout if we do this again to $5,700. So we're just kind of playing with this idea here. I'm gonna look at like where the bottom is because we're right at the bottom of this channel. And
for context, Jose, Mike has told me for the last 5 weeks that ETH is gonna hit 5,700.
Yeah, I'm right. I'm right. It's just a matter of when. Like I know I'll be right, but I will tell you, every trade I told you to take, you've been in profit at some point, and not small profits. It's just a matter of this is the problem with all traders is when to take profit, right? And I get burned with it too. Like almost every trade I've been in has been successful at one point, but I stay in the trade too long sometimes because you believe that's going to reach that target, but it doesn't. So honestly, lately, what I've been doing is that even if it gets halfway to my target, I take my profit because I
Mm-hmm.
don't need to make the whole move. You just need to make a small move and just wait for the next trade. And
Yeah.
that's how you got to be flexible. You got to keep moving around. If some strategy is not working, there's no point of losing money consistently. If it's not working, analyze
Just
why
at
it's not
me next
working.
time, Mike. Just at me. Just say, Mikkel, that's not smart to just keep.
I think stop losing money, Mikkel. I don't know what you're doing. Have you considered not losing money?
I haven't thought of it. Maybe I'll look into it.
Literally educating you every stream and like, hello.
And I'm still the worst trader. It's my attention span, though. For real, I really do need stop loss. Like, better stuff.
In fairness to you, I think that, and I'm curious Mike's opinion on this. I think that the second hardest thing to do is take profit early. The hardest thing to do is basically take losses before they become larger.
Yeah.
So if you have a stop loss lower and you know it's probably going to hit that,
yes,
but you don't want to. You don't. The worst thing to take is like a 10% haircut on a trade. Like that's just so painful.
Dude,
like,
so I do this on Toshi Bet too. I play the mines, and sometimes I'm so good at them, and I'll turn like $200 into like 2,500, and I'm like, I'm gonna go to like 3K, and then I'm out, and then I'll go to zero. And I'll get like frustrated and be like, "There's no way!" Like my luck's, and I'm just not. I'm too emotional, I think, for too emotional and too ADD for perps trading. I hold my AVAX. That's what I'm really.
It's so funny.
On.
We're so like opposite in that sense. Where like I'm a degen if I gamble. That's why I don't like to gamble because I know sometimes it's hard for me to control my emotions. But when at least this time in the trading, when I first got in the trading, I was like that, and now I just have a system and I just trade the system. And then I tweak it because some things didn't work and you got to the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result, right? So I always change up again my profit taking strategy because I noticed my last couple trades that I lost, like I was in the green, I was right, like my initial thesis was correct, but the trade rolled over or didn't reach the target or whatever. So I just changed my profit taking strategy, and that's why we take small little trades at a time and make a little bit here and there. But overall, if I make 50 trades and it's a little bit here and there, it adds up to a lot, right? That's the way I like to trade. Just you gotta find the way that trade that works for you, because the way my brain works is not the way your brain works, and that's fine.
Very true.
We don't have to be the same. You just gotta find out what works for you.
Well, you just make all the money I lose. I'm the exit liquidity. You're welcome.
So, you guys considered using Venmo?
Right? I don't know if we can use Venmo in Canada here.
Ooh, well, then you may be interested for our next product. How about permissionless zero gas payments?
I love it. I love moving money where I don't need to the government doesn't need to know everything that I do. Again, I pay my taxes. I do my taxes by the book.
When I take it out, when I take profits, I'll pay some taxes on this. I don't mind. But until it's profits, I'm probably going to zero. Until I pull it out, whatever is in is going to zero.
Yeah, Uncle Sam should be paying you in that case.
Absolutely. So let's look at Ethereum here.
Sorry.
So
sidetrack.
ETH, again, we're still looking like we could have some more downside. The stochastic R size still looks like it's coming down. We haven't flatlined yet. We haven't bottomed yet. And the R size getting low here too. Again, this pattern could play out to, like I said, 57, 5,800 if it breaks out. But let's pull a Fibonacci and see like where potentially this move can go to. So if we pull a Fib, we could say that we bounced. That big wick that came down was a 618 bounce. If we're going to come down further and have a more of a bigger bounce, you look like you're going to come to the 786, which lines up with in the VRVP. This is the volume. You have this big volume that can get stopped out. So basically how price moves is you have these big volumes. And then if you lose it, see this gap here? You'll fall into this gap until you stop. And you're usually going to stop at another big volume. So it does make sense to me that we could actually come down out of this channel, break down to the downside, come back to the 786 here. And then on that will bottom the RSI and the stochastic down. Again, the MACD does look like we still have more bearish momentum to come. So like this could lead you back down to 3,800, 4,000. But again, if we're gonna lose this here, there's no resistance here. Like we have to come back to the gap, and the gap lines up with right here, this this pattern here where we stopped, and that's the volume. So we're gonna stop here until we stop, and then if we lose this gap, and that's how you play support and resistance. You got to look at,
Yeah.
again, I obviously pay a subscription to get these indicators. That's why you guys tune into the show, so you can see maybe some things that you guys don't have and get a little bit more information. But yeah, I would look for Ethereum to come down here and maybe even touch the top of this channel. So we'll put a line here, right here at 3,800. So
I'm gonna have a chance to make it all back on one trade. Is what you're. That's all I'm hearing.
That's what I heard as well.
like this might actually be on the daily. This might even be a little bit of a bull flag, a bear flag here. So you look here, you would come down here, and it
Nice.
should line
Yeah,
up. It
it looks
should,
like it's forming.
and it should line up like almost exactly with that support line. So, and this is kind of what you want to find the bottom, because we need to flip this as support now. This was resistance here, and now we want to bounce off it and find support. So I still think Ethereum is going to come down. Again, like I said, and that lines up with my Bitcoin thesis of touching 109 again.
Yeah.
So still some, and we're kind of going sideways. I feel like it's the quiet before the storm, and it's the storm, that final washout to the downside before we can go back to the upside.
It's like the guy. Yeah, I didn't hear no bell. Final washout. Final washout.
I was gonna say, I felt like it was finally the bull market about 7,400 times in the last 30 days. I'm like, and then also we're so not back, but like,
Yeah,
it's been a
They
hell
do
of a
say
bull market.
that there are only 3 certainties in life: death, taxes, and Red September. So it matches.
yeah.
And Macau getting liquidated.
Absolutely, and next week is again the end of the month. Usually has a lot of volatility. Sometimes you have options expiring, so that makes sense. My mental models, everything it plays, the confluence all plays together that these things will line up, and we'll have to obviously watch the charts. But again, from what I'm seeing, I see more downside, and that's just fine. This is what we want. We wanted to finally make a bottom, and this is where you try to catch your reversal. So watch that support line at 3,800, 3,886. See if we can bounce off that. We don't even have to come touch it. We can just get close to it and bounce off that. Or maybe this is it right here. This was the reversal right here. But again, the daily, again, not looking great for Ethereum. We'll go to the 4-hour. We're below the 200-day moving average in the 4-hour. So it's hard to be bullish when we're below these key support and resistance lines and these moving averages. Again, the 1-hour below. So if you're gonna watch out for a pump, you're gonna start working your way down the time frames and looking for the model, which I've showed you guys before. It's a 21-day moving average touching the 200-day with low stochastics. Like right now, the 21-day and the 200 are getting close, but we have high stochastics and high RSI. We want it to be lower and curling up, and that's what you would look for. Again, the 1 minute below the 200-day moving average. So again, not bullish. I don't see any bullish time frames. And then the best times to trade are like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then like you start losing volume throughout like the end of the week into the weekend. So it's not going to trade overly.
How do you see that play out on your platform? How have you been watching? Like which days are most active, Jose? Do we get the most activity early week?
So much data, yeah. So well, one thing I want to say about it's so tragic because on like this. By the way, we have had so many brutal Sunday to Mondays. I don't know what it is. Cursed, absolutely cursed. I mean, we had the first one with 5K. I was a victim of that one, and then we had the one just this week, and I saw we actually had a new all-time high long open interest, and I'm like, guys, this is come on, like. Even I was short, so even I could see like, guys, come on, this is a local top. Like this is clearly some shenanigans about to be pulled. CZ is tweeting about forgiveness and buying the dip, like short everything. And so we did see that on the platform. In terms of days, so we have let's see, between was it 9 and 17 UTC are the most active hours. So basically, a few hours. But we actually did some platform maintenance right after that time ended. In terms of days, Mondays are pretty active. I got a lot of data. If you guys want to know anything, I can dive in.
Yeah, I'm curious. We'll have to have you on again and prepare some questions and dive into the data, because I think giving traders like a look behind the scenes, and it's hard. Like if you told me, I know that there's a lot of people that can go look up that data and they have but people on the marketing side, people on the retail side, like we don't go that. I have too much in my head to handle, so I don't go down those rabbit holes. I need people to translate the technicals and the data to me in a marketable way. And that helps me decide,
And also it's like this is firsthand data for us. We don't know how much we can trust the other. We don't know about manipulation and such, this is all firsthand real data that we can just dive into. So I think honestly we could do a whole podcast on that.
Yeah. And I think we should. I think that would be really interesting.
So let's talk about
what's one of VDEX.
Let's talk about
the world.
Yes, the one that's been outperforming the entire market. For weeks we've been talking about on the Adoption Pod on my stream on Wednesdays. I've been talking about this trade for AVAX. Honestly, I thought this was going to go all the way into October, to be honest, before we broke out, but we broke it a little early. So if you got this pattern and you traded the breakout,
well, do you want to know why we broke out early, Mike?
Yes, tell me.
The day we broke out early was the day that VDEX listed AVAX.
Boom. Yeah, there you go. That's why.
So
if you see here, my target hit exactly perfectly, $36.
Interesting.
So if you took that, even if you just got the breakout, you would have made that would have been a beautiful 34% move.
Sheesh.
Right? So very perfect trade. I told you if you want to take stabs at it, you can take stabs at it when it hits the bottom of the channel. Every time, especially in a channel in a pattern like this, because every bottom is higher. So you want to get in at the bottoms because the next one will be higher. So if your stop loss, for example, if you put you start the trade here and your stop loss is just below here to give yourself some wiggle room, if you hit the bottom of the channel again, you're not going to get stopped out because you're going to be higher than the previous low that you got in at. And then even if it makes its way down and then breaks out at the end, you're fine. You can even build upon the position. And every time you hit the bottom of the channel, like for example, you got in here and you wouldn't really know you're in this pattern probably till about
DCAing into your perps position essentially. Is that
like you wouldn't know, like for example, if you want to build a trade, you can enter the trade, for example, probably here, because you wouldn't know you're in this pattern probably around till here. You can forecast it. So you get it hit when it hits the bottom of the channel, hits the top, hits the bottom again, you get in again. If it hits the bottom again, you get in again, and you DCA into the position. And then that way you don't need to go all the way up here. You can go up here and you're going to catch a big move.
Right. Start shedding some on your way down.
Or as it pumps up, you start laddering your position out every time it makes a new little high here, right?
Yeah.
But AVAX.
So what's next for AVAX? So we've had this huge move.
It's been wacky. Like, look at this wick. We came all the way back down here to $26. I don't know how fast this wick came. But we came back and retested the top of that channel again. And I do like when the bottoms are rounded, like I said, rounded bottoms pay the bills, right? So
it almost like a glitch.
It probably
imagine buying that dip today.
Well, that was a liquidation event, right?
I'm going to pick up some AVAX and you see that price and you're just like, gift from God.
See, I don't even know if it's a glitch because you see this wick across a lot of the coins, like even Ethereum, like we had that wick right here, right?
Right. That was the crime season.
It was a liquidation. I think the market makers just trying to liquidate people, right?
Crime candles.
Yeah.
So I do see again. We could continue to the upside because it is. I do like the rounded of this.
Yeah.
I don't know if can you say that we came back to touch the 21-day moving average because of the wick here, but I do see we have some heavy wicks to the downside. Here, so.
Other coin. Did Ethan Sol finish green that day?
Let's take a look. No, they continued down. It wicked back up, but we continued red, and then now this is the first daily green candle since then for Ethereum. AVAX, everything has been red. AVAX is actually pumping in the face of red today. Even today's dump, AVAX was going up, but again, we've wicked down. So the daily, I still see. Let's look at the technicals here. The MACD is slowing down. The stochastic RSI is coming down. The RSI is on the top here. Again, we could peak out, but we're pretty hot on the RSI here. So let's start moving our way down and see what the smaller time frames look like. Are we flagging out? What are we gonna do? So let's take a look at the 12-hour. Look at that, like the tweezer bottom here. That's a weird pattern, and this could even start like an inverse head and shoulders, like head right here, shoulder. Are we making the other shoulder right now? Are we making a W pattern? Potential again, a potential to the upside. I still see it. Again, you look at the 12-hour stochastic RSI low curving up.
Mhm.
Our side, we're not low, we're still above the neutral line, but we're curving up. We can still peek into the zone. The MACD is slowing down on the bearish momentum here. It looks pretty good. We could have another little pump for AVAX. Like it's possible on the shorter time frames before the daily finally starts to hit off. 4 hour, again, the 4 hours overheated on the stochastic, but the RSI is curling up a little bit. The MACD kind of looking like it's slowing down. And that makes sense because you see the wicks to the downside, the hammer wicks, right?
Yep.
So this could just be something like this, a little like a flag. That's got such a weird pattern. So choppy, so choppy. I can't even make
Yeah.
anything out of this. So it's
I don't think I could make it. What are you thinking, Jose? What are you reading on this chart?
Whoa. Can we go to the daily?
sure. Yeah, so the daily's it looks like a rounded bottom. Like, or do we make something like this where we make an Adam and Eve double top?
I think double top is what I'm saying. So that's at 36, is it?
Mhm.
I think probably local top at 36.
So you can probably
Although-
say a double top like that right there.
I think it could go even higher because we have BTC's momentum, and BTC. Okay, we said it could go to 108, but also if it instead
Yeah.
turns and goes back to 118, then AVAX.
Well, and I think part of the news driving AVAX against the grain of the markets is they had Scaramucci on MSNBC yesterday. I want to say there's a whole company like converting their Web2 business into AVAX 1, and it's going to handle assets on chain for them. So like
because VDEX listed AVAX, probably the biggest
and
news.
obviously the biggest news of the week. And it's just news after news. It's
Yeah.
been amazing to be around the AVAX ecosystem for so long and like believing in that core team, like knowing the Coops and being familiar with Emin and all those people early on, Dream and Vanya and all those guys, and then just watching like the master class in scaling up marketing through an ecosystem and to see where they're at now. It's just, to me, AVAX is the trust chain. I think we talk about it a lot of different ways, but I think from a consumer's point of view, looking in with the contracts that we have with the DMV, we're putting houses on chain, institutional adoption, Morgan Stanley, a partnership with VanEck upcoming. I don't know if I was supposed to say that, but other things, lots of things, right?
Also loves life.
So
I love everything.
What
It's
I
not suicidal.
what I will
That's
say,
what?
It's not suicidal.
Yeah, I'm not suicidal. No. Yeah, love, like big love. But so it feels like there's a lot of momentum behind this, and it's like a lot of the people who have been building inside of AVAX for a lot of years have always felt like, when is it our turn? Like we're so mispriced. And you can be in ecosystems where you believe that for years and it never comes true, right? So it's cool to be a part of an ecosystem where it's like, oh, we were right, like when the bull market comes back and all of crypto celebrates, and it's like, yeah, you guys are the idiots. Just feels good, man.
So not even the money. It's just the stomping on the grave. Oh my god,
money isn't even real. It's just energy, and we just move it around. And
certainly not internet money. You know what is real though? AVAX flipping link. That's real.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
it was pretty real. Yeah.
So,
love the chain link, guys, but this one felt pretty good.
As bullish as you guys are,
China.
I will let you know. And we've backtracked this many times before on this podcast. Is when the moving averages start to get separate like this, and you can start to draw a circle inside here. That's a good sign that you're probably going to be topping out, and you can backtrack this in any coin over and over and over. You draw a circle here, you draw a circle here, you draw a circle here, and that's usually when you start to look at potentially getting out of your positions. I know we're bullish on AVAX. I'm bullish on AVAX. I believe we're going to go $50. I believe $100 is programmed in, but it's not just going to happen. Nothing goes up in a straight line forever. And we've been
no AVAX to 100 tomorrow is what you're telling me?
Absolutely not. I think we have to come back and touch, touch some other levels.
What about the second mortgage on my home? I just went 20x leverage on AVAX.
Ooh. Start dodging calls from the credit.
No, I'm going to clip this tomorrow. Mike's bearish on AVAX. You're never going to get an ambassadorship ever now.
Nope.
That's
it.
Put the nail in your coffin.
That's it.
No, we love bike. All right, we have one more, I think, to look at real quick, and then we should probably wrap it up and let Jose go. And Jose, we're actually gonna, huh?
Can we do? I don't know. I don't want to interrupt the program, but if we could do Soul.
Let's do Soul.
Absolutely.
Let's take a look at Soul because I am interested. I think that like how Soul is doing kind of tells me. We do home a lot just because I have a large position with them, you know, and we have a lot of our followers that are also pretty big in the community. But Solana, I think, is a better indicator of the overall markets and like what we can expect to see. So yeah, let's
Solana didn't look great. Like we tracking this pattern. We had our target up to about $281. Everything looked great, and we rolled over. Pretty bad. We rolled over quite a bit. Double top. Made an M, as you can see here. We made an M pattern, golden arches.
We'll all be working when we go to zero.
So, you know, the daily, the stochastic RSI did come back down. The RSI is down here, so I think we just we're gonna make some sort of a bottoming pattern, or we can even redraw this. Like, are we back in the pattern? Does the pattern extend now? So we could say that was a failed breakout, and we're still in the pattern, and then maybe we break out at the end. And we're looking at, you know, still on track for 284, 285. But again, and you see it time and time again. When you can draw a circle.
I think it can also go sideways too, to tell you the truth.
To be honest, that's kind of what I'm thinking. I'm thinking Bitcoin does go back to 108, 109. And there's a potential that altcoins could maybe go down a little bit, but most of all sideways. And then that'll reset all the smaller time frames. And then we make that move right back, right?
That'll be really
cool. It's a cool off, right? Just a cool off because we've had, you know, last week was bullish and 2 weeks before we were bullish for altcoins, right? We've had a pretty good move up from altcoins over the last couple of weeks. But again, a
lot of also this has been, I know we're a perp dex, but a lot of this has been leverage trading, and we do need spot. How do you view inflows in BTC, ETH, and others?
What do you mean? Like
spot inflows?
Spot inflows?
ETFs and also general spot buying as compared to perps. Because last week, I mean, the reason that we got, you know, crime season on Monday was because we were way over leveraged. Bitcoin was 2.5% dip, largest liquidation event of the year.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like institutional investors will be more likely to be in spot because they're not leverage trading, right? Again, the real like even me, like I'm mostly a swing trader in spot. Like I leverage trade with a very small percentage of my portfolio, like my overall portfolio, like a very, very small percentage. It's for me, it's a way to make side cash, a little bit of extra cash on the side.
Yeah.
But majority of my gains come from swing trading. I do long and holds, right? You buy like this would be a dip I would buy, for example, and then the next all-time high we make for Bitcoin, I would sell. And I would just do that over and over and over. So for me personally, I'm more of like a spot holder. But I know personally from people I've talked to that are starting to get back, people I talked to crypto years ago are talking about, hey, I'm in crypto now, and it's ETFs. It's the explosion. Even me, like I was talking to my wife the other day. I'm gonna go have a meeting with my financial advisor. I'm gonna fire him because I'm literally I'm gonna tell him.
I can't believe you have one.
I'm gonna tell him, make me a case. Because we're in index funds, and you know, don't get me wrong, for traditional stocks they've done pretty well. I think my portfolio is up like 13-14% year to date, but I'm like, the S&P 500 is up like 70% year to date. I said, if you can't beat it, you gotta buy it, right? So make me a case of why I should be with you or S&P 500, or just buy IBTC in the same retirement fund. I don't care about downside volatility. I'm not retiring anytime soon. So, because I know that's going to be his excuse. Oh, well, you're protected from the downside. Well, I don't care. I'm not retiring. I don't need the money now. So
I'm a degenerate. Okay. Just let me live my life.
See, the thing is, I don't even look at it as a risk. I see the dollar as a risk, and I see that you should
100%.
never hold dollars and you should hold the best assets. Why would you hold anything else that's underperforming when you can get the best asset in the world?
Statement. We're not buying Bitcoin. We're selling dollars.
Yeah.
That's the transfer of wealth.
What were you talking about ETFs? So how do you view that affecting some of this market action so far and in the coming days?
So ETF inflows, that was they peaked. Well, I don't even remember when it was. 3 weeks ago or so. Whenever the last major dip was, before this last one, ETF inflows. The dip before the dip before the dippity dip dip. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we saw net inflows in ETH and BTC hitting like record highs or at least like monthly highs, and so that was definitely a warning sign. Also comparing the difference between, so basically what happens when you buy a perp contract is someone actually needs to be shorting it on the other side, and so that can be the market maker, but also there are a lot of arbors that will basically buy spot and short on a perp so they can farm funding rate at 11% APR. So
Interesting.
basically a lot of the perp, a lot of the quote unquote spot buying can actually just be basically shorts having to hedge their positions. So what's very interesting to investigate is the difference between, is this a derivatives rally? Is this leverage rally from degens?
Yeah.
Or is this institutions buying a bit more sustained and therefore less susceptible to, sudden liquidity shocks?
Absolutely.
Interesting.
So
You guys are so smart. Someday I'll be a good trader just by virtue of osmosis. I'm going to absorb it all.
So looking
and I'm
at
just gonna
Sol,
crush it.
we are fighting the 4-hour 200-day moving average. But I will tell you, the RSI is in the red, and we haven't been in the red since August, the beginning of August 1st and 2nd. And when we were in this red and we started to curve up, we had this big move up here, and we actually didn't even come back to that low again.
Okay.
So this could be something like that where we fight that 200-day moving average. We kind of go sideways a bit and finally break above it. But like the stochastic RSI low curving down again, maybe just a little bit more days sideways, or maybe even lose the 200-day moving average a little bit more. Find a bottom. This resets, and then when we start to come back out of the red here, because this doesn't happen very often, like in the red on the 4-hour time frame, this like getting in the red on the RSI does not happen very often. It's like August, and then it happens shortly in June, like every couple months. It doesn't happen often. So you gotta, that's something you gotta pay attention to for when we start to revert back up.
Yeah.
So
and you can see it's like that double dip, like the inverse of it.
And honestly,
Jose,
this is just a higher low.
Solana? What are your thoughts on Solana over the next couple weeks?
Ooh,
it sounds like you're doing a lot with it.
Yeah, I'm trying to. So let's see. Honestly, I think I may actually just sit this one out. I have no clue.
Here.
I think it. Honestly, I'm just watching the king. It really depends.
Yeah.
I do see something here on the 1 hour though. I do see a potential Adam and Eve double bottom. So you'll have the Adam in, and then we're making the Eve right now. So this could be an Adam and Eve double bottom. It does kind of show me the same thing on the stochastic RSI. So keep your eye onto that, and that would make sense to get back above the 4-hour 200-day moving average. So what you'll start to see, if that is to come to fruition, this will start to round. So we're in the middle. So what you would look for is you would look for this to do this. It would round out here and then do something like this, and then we're off to the races. And this is where you would want to probably get in somewhere around there.
After you see a little confirmation,
is
gonna stick.
But or you can front run it and just get in. Get in once.
That's what I do, and I get wrecked every time.
Once we start to come above here, but I actually see like Solana. Like I'm more bullish on Solana than AVAX right now, to be honest, just because AVAX is a little overheated. We need to take a little bit of a break, retest a key level, and then come back. Honestly, pullbacks are super, super healthy. And just like we said,
that is true.
And just like we said for when the moving averages get tight, or when they get separated, you could draw a circle. When they go above, you can also draw a circle when they get below.
Yeah,
and that's kind of your indicator that we might start to reverse.
Here's my issue.
I'm gonna long Sol immediately after this.
Where's support?
Support? Let's take a look.
Last support I remember is, close to the 200 range, right? Maybe 208 highest.
So we're looking at something like that. So yeah, 212, we can say.
Support at 212.
Let me go. I don't want to use the hourly for this. Let me use the daily for this. Let's see where we have previous
Because
support and resistance.
in the months leading up to this, it was 200. We kept getting wrecked below 200, and obviously it's a psychological factor as well.
Barrier.
So we're looking at 200 $200 would be here, but I don't know. It's kind of weird. It's in the middle. I would try to look for as many touch points as I can. So I'm looking at like 206 because you have a touch point here. You got touch
206
points.
sounds familiar.
Touch points here.
Yeah.
Another kind of wick in here. Another touch point there. So
I remember a lot of stop losses below 204 as well. So something in like the slightly above 200 range. Here's the problem though. We're at 214.
yeah. So
and on the way down.
well, again,
Right.
it could still go down a little bit. And look, we haven't found a bottom yet. Like that Adam and Eve double bottom hasn't fully rounded. We could still make that bottom. So that's only a little bit.
You're suggesting we could blow through some of those previous supports. Is that what you're saying, Jose?
No, I'm not suggesting.
Okay.
I mean, possibly, but I'm saying we have to at least touch them, and we haven't even touched them yet.
So we have a ways to go.
So if we pull a Fibonacci here from the impulse, we're right now. Excuse me. We're right now down at the 786. The 786 is usually a really good reversal level for altcoins, for most coins, to be honest. Bitcoin likes to come down to the golden pocket at the 618. And the 786 is right here, and we're kind of right by it. We could touch it. We come a bit below it. That's very possible. And you see that in the stochastic RSI that we could have a little bit of more momentum to the downside. Pardon me.
And that's a 210, is it?
So that would line up with 210.
210. All right. So possibly some limit orders at just above 210. Stop loss right below. Low confidence trade.
Yep. Take a stab at it, because again, you're going to catch that move eventually where we never come back again, and you get the huge move to the upside.
But I've missed that move like 500 times already, Mike.
Well, the thing is, if this is why I always recommend using a stop loss, that you're like be in control of what you lose, because the risk versus reward, even if you lose 3 trades in a row and say you lose, $20, but you finally hit the trade and you win 300, like that's fine. That's opportunity cost.
Yep. Makes sense. Well, I think that's all we have for today. We've been chatting for 2 hours. This show gets longer every week. We just have too much to talk about.
So much density of alpha. I mean, we had analogies of sibling rivalry. We had talk about Solvac. Hockey season is coming. I mean, the people got what they asked for.
That is
Absolutely.
true. Yeah, this show is definitely highly focused, very narrow. Like you come here, you know what you're going to get.
Yeah.
Never. It's a shit show, and you never know what you're going to get. But we're proud of it, nonetheless.
So I said we're going to look at a live trade, and let's.
Make a live trade.
Ooh.
And let's see here. We did see. You know what? Let's look at Sol, because Sol looked again. I looked like we're going to bottom on the 1 hour. The 1 hour. So let's anticipate this Adam and Eve double bottom.
All right.
So what I would do is you have.
That's a good entry too.
So I would look at. Let's go down to smaller time frames. Let's look at the 15-minute, 30-minute. See if we can find something here. Okay, so what I would do is you can put a position here. If you're going to go long or you're going to go short, but I'm going to go long here because I believe we're in a bull market. I would put my stop loss below here. So I'm going to go back to this wick here. I'm going to use this as my wick. The top, I'm probably going to put probably around, right here. I'm going to put it right here. Say we get up this high. I don't think we're going to get to this high on the first try, but I'm going to put it here. So that's a 5.5 risk versus reward ratio. Your stop loss is tight, right? You got a tight stop loss, because this could very well dump right down through the pattern. And again, the 30-minute does look like could roll over. So we could take a stab at it, or we can go.
And that's a good point to make, like for newer traders. If you are entering a riskier trade, make your stop loss much shorter. Like if the upside obviously is great on it, but if you're me, It's like YOLO all the time. It's not a good trading strategy. So
You
listen to what
need
these guys are saying.
you need a stop loss. I got stopped twice shorting. I tried to short at 220, 240, and then I got stopped twice longing in recent days. So I got stopped 4 times, but I shorted from 250. So that made all of it up and then some.
That's
So-
right. All you got to do is make it back in one trade, and it erases all the losses. It's like they
Yes.
never even happened.
Because I even look at the liquidation candle here. The liquidation candle stopped here. Then we had another wick down here and another wick down here. And so far, again, as long as we stay above here, we're making higher lows. So mind you, this is a huge candle to the down. I would probably give it some more time to get into this trade and wait for the. So this is on the hour chart. So this candle closes in 4 minutes. So I would wait for this candle to close and see where the next candle starts. It's looking like it's wicking up here, so we can probably get in here. I would put my stop loss below the liquidation candle. Give it some wiggle room. Our stop loss would be 0.95, not even 1%. So for example, if my trading portfolio is $1,000, times 0.01, 1% of my portfolio is $10 divided by 0.0095. That give me
suspiciously like math, Mike.
That is a position size of $1,052. So that's what you would put. You go to VDEX over here and you go to Solana, and your position amount would be, I believe I had $1,006, I think it was. So that'd be 1,000. Oops.
Leverage. There you go.
Oh, I got crossed. We got to go isolated because I don't do that. Leverage.
I don't even know what that means.
We're gonna go probably 10x leverage.
You're supposed to do it all the way, Mike. It goes all the way for a reason.
You know why? It messes up with my liquidation price. That's why I can't put my stop loss where I want to because I'll get liquidated beforehand.
Yeah.
So $1,006. Your take profit would be we had it around 221.91. So we'll go 221.91. So it'd be a $35 trade if we hit the target. Our stop loss would be 211.58. 211.58, and we'd lose $13 for $34. I'm gonna take it. We'll see where this goes. Yeah. Maybe I'll wake up tomorrow and we'll see where we are. See if that Adam and Eve double bottom played out. Maybe take a day or probably they're on the hour chart.
Tune into Mike's show tomorrow night at 9, where he just does charts and then plays video games, and you'll find out if he got wrecked or not.
There we go. And look at that wick. We're wicking up. See if I just got in a little earlier, I'd already be up in this trade. So we're looking here. Again, we're down 27 cents, but we'll let this play out. We'll wake up tomorrow morning, and if I'm right, then we're probably not going to touch this low again.
Okay.
That's it. We just did. That's how you set up a live trade. That's how you risk 1% of your portfolio.
I think I might enter it right now.
Amazing.
I better be quick.
Oh, you better be quick. Well, that's a fun note to end the show on. This has been super fun, Jose. We are definitely going to have you on again. We're getting more comfortable using the app. I want to start doing some of my longs and things here. So thanks, Mike, for using this tonight on the show so that we can share that with our audience
and
too.
Side note, that was the first time I used the app. And that's how I learned. I just used it without ever doing it before on the fly. That's
pretty intuitive.
That's
what you're trying to say.
That's how easy it was. Just FYI, like this
is
probably
the biggest
first trade on
VDEX founder in the world, Mike.
But if there's anything you're missing, we are far from perfect. Like even right now, you set a stop loss, didn't you?
I did.
Refresh the screen. See, here's a little bug. You have to refresh for that. Oh wait, no, actually no. Stop losses. That's right. Stop losses don't even appear on the chart at all. That's a little bug. We're gonna fix that. We're in beta right now. We can go so much higher. Whatever is missing, whatever you need us to do, we are an open book. I usually reply within 5 minutes, so we're all in this together to improve. So.
Except for the 2 hours a day he sleeps. Let him sleep those 2 hours.
Yeah. When I hang upside down from my cave.
Yes. Awesome, guys. Amazing show. I can't wait to do this again next week, Mike. Get some clips out about this show. This was a really good one. I think we got some good stuff and really appreciate you coming on, Jose.
Appreciate it. Thanks for coming on, man.
Great job as always.
Thank you for having me on. Mike and McKell, it's like a Tom and Jerry right there.
Nick and Mike.
I like that. Tom and Jerry. I used to love that show when I was a kid.
Which one am I though? Who would be who in this scenario, Jose?
I'm not taking sides.
I think
No,
I think
you have to now. You're the one who brought it up. You and your metaphors.
you're totally
All right.
Analogies.
I'm saying you're Jerry.
Yeah, that's where I was at with that.
Is that the mouse?
That's the mouse.
Yeah, that's the
Oh
mouse.
yeah.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
absolutely.
No, you nailed it. That's totally right. I'm a little bit troublemaker, a little bit. Yeah. Nailed it.
Absolutely.
All right.
Thank you so
we'll
much for
call
coming
Jerry
on.
again next week.
Thanks everybody for coming by and chatting in chat. And we'll see you guys next week, 9:00 on Tuesday. Later, guys.
Adios.
Bye,
That
guys.
was not a Hail Hitler. That was a salute.
Oh my god.
Look, people got in trouble on the internet. Like
All right.
Elon took a picture. Like now I'm worried about this stuff.
All right, we're out of here.
Horrible ending to the show. I'm sorry.